Trustees, we have our second information item. That is the Summer 2018 Update, Part 2, and Back to School 2018. Dr. Swift.
Thank you, Madam President and trustees. Our last summer update, school had not begun yet. And I remember Trustee Gaynor mentioned at the end that we kind of focus most of that on facilities. So as is usual, we will focus this one more on our school days and what has happened. I appreciate Mr. Cluley bringing up this tweet because it really says what we believe, and that is how we recognize that our families have choices about where they send their children to school, and we never take for granted, and we are always deeply grateful. And I loved this picture. A parent tweeted that these were his rays of sunshine, and this was their, I believe, their trip home. I'm not sure, it might have been going to school, but at any rate, today was the 7th day of school in the 2018-19 school year. It is a great day in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. As President Stead mentioned, we're getting settled in, following up on all of the details that still need to be settled, but we're getting closer every day. And we invite folks that may have a concern or a question to just simply reach directly to us, because we pride ourselves in problem solving in real time. So if we hear in the morning that the bus is too full or too empty or too early or too late, we work real hard to fix that by the afternoon pickup time. And I want folks to know that we take pride. We're very serious about problem solving in real time. So we just need to hear from you. If you'll give us that, we'll get busy fixing it. And it's fine if you tell other folk, but they may not be able to get something done on it right away. We're delighted to have our children back. We're still counting them, but certainly well over 18,000 students in the district. There is a welcome back shot. Where was that? And Mitchell, as they were coming in, you can see that amazing crowd. I want to begin by thanking our teachers and staff, our parents and community. Every single classroom I've been in, and trustees, it's been busy. I've not been to every campus yet, but I promise we will get there. Every classroom I've been in has been a warm and welcoming, inviting, and stimulating place for children to learn. And I appreciate that the teachers did so much work to prepare their classrooms. I remember I used to show up a couple of weeks early. Of course, I am slow and methodical about things, and I never wanted to be rushed at the very last minute. I saw many of our teachers doing exactly the same thing. They were here, their classrooms were beautiful and prepared, as you will see more pictures in just a moment. Congratulations to teachers, to our students, to our parents, and to our community on a wonderful opening to all of our staff. I want to especially recognize and thank our physical properties crew, as well as our custodial team for all of their hard work. Here's some evidence of their work. They were working hard all summer to prepare our school buildings for the start of school. And we send a great big thank you to all the workers whose efforts made all the difference for how bright and beautiful and clean and ready to welcome students our schools were. Certainly still tightening up the remaining details, but you can see, I can say with full confidence, trustees, our schools have not looked better over my 6 openings. They look remarkably better. And certainly our work is not finished, but we are proud. Currently, we're out on the back to school tour. I was out at Carpenter last night for a community meeting there. Our schools are looking very good. It is a joy to personally greet and welcome and interact with parents and staff members at this time of year. This past Saturday, we had the great pleasure, and trustees, we included the newspaper article We got to be with the Hakone delegation who were here. Actually, the purpose of this trip was to celebrate the 50th anniversary between Michigan and Shiga, Japan. So it was the two states' 50th anniversary. Next year will be the 50th anniversary with Ann Arbor and Hakone. So they split off on Saturday. We were able to join them at the AADL, where there is currently an amazing exhibit up of calligraphy that is a part of this 50th anniversary. And you can see there that we just had a tremendous time. Hakone is a sister city of Ann Arbor, and while 2019 will mark the 50th anniversary of the sister city relationship, I also want to point out Ms. Bacalor was just highlighting that 2019 also represents the 40th anniversary of our Hakone exchange program with students. We now have many of our parents and even grandparents who were also participants in the exchange program, so it's very exciting. The Japanese delegation was visiting to begin or continue the planning. You can see there the entire group there at the library, along with Mayor Taylor's in the blue, of course, and then immediately to his right is the mayor of Hakone, who is a graduate of U of M, and he states that he majored in golf. He says that all the time. I'm not sure if that's really true, but that is his leading statement. And then to the left of the mayor of Ann Arbor, Mayor Taylor, is Miss Josie Parker, who was our host on that day, director of the AADL, and they did a marvelous job of hosting us. We send our group every other fall, and I wanted to just add to Ms. Bacalor's highlight that this group of students meets with their international team and their sponsor and their teachers week over week, preparing for the visit. So they don't just pack their suitcase and go get on the plane. They have to invest many hours. They learn some of the language. They learn a lot about the culture. They prepare for their visit to amazing places like the Hiroshima Memorial. They fold up thousands of cranes. They do just amazing work, and I'm so proud of our students. If the board would like, an executive committee can advise us, we're always happy to bring that group and let them share with the board if you would like to after their trip. We wanted to remind everyone tonight, it's just a great time to remember that there are ways to keep in touch with us and to stay connected in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. We try to cover most social media, and we're not on all of it. Some of you trustees are on some that we're not quite on fully yet, but we are on Twitter, and I just want to say to the community, sign up right now. It is A2 Schools Super. It will be the first place where the announcement of snow days or any other emerging announcements will be made first there. So I invite you to follow us on Twitter at A2 Schools or A2 Schools Super. Joe Mathis and Mr. Cluley do a great job of curating our Ann Arbor Public Schools Facebook page, and they update that very frequently. We also have our own YouTube channel, and often we run out of time at the board, so we don't get to play all of the cool videos. But Ms. Mathis is out in the schools, Mr. Cluley. We have lots of great videos. They're doing a little 30-second glimpse into classrooms that I just find delightful. It's 30 seconds of a classroom, and it only takes, of course, 30 seconds to look at it, so it's really great. Also would advise our parents, if you've not done so, to get our A2 Schools app. That is up, and we're still tweaking it, but it has lots of good information there. And do your school messenger account. Through the app, you can actually get in there and pay for meals and do all of the things that you want to do as a parent. We are also doing this year text announcements. So there is a place here for you to go on and sign up for our closing announcements via text. A lot of our parents and students don't want to have to wait for the phone call, so they prefer a text or social media connection. We'll talk more a little bit later, and many of our parents are signing up for the bus tracker app so that they know where their school bus is at all times. That will be really helpful on cold days. You know, in my day, we just had to go out at the appointed time and wait. And if the bus was a little bit later, we just were colder for longer. And now you can kind of keep track of your bus so you don't have to go out there too far ahead. And so these are some ways that we ask you to keep in touch with us. Trustees, Mr. Demetrio's presentation with the Santana song went so beautifully last time that we decided that we would do our back to school presentation in a similar fashion. So for the next few minutes, we invite you to sit back and relax and enjoy our back to school 2018-19. And of course, this will be published on our YouTube channel, so if folks want to see it more later, they're welcome to. Thank you. It is every day a pleasure to serve, an honor to serve in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. We appreciate the support of our Board of Trustees and our schools and our community. We thank you for the opportunity to serve. And with that, here's our Back to School Part 2, 2018-19. Thank you. Thanks to Mr. Cluley for creating that synopsis of our opening days of school. I did want to mention, trustees, that we substituted for Santana our own high school bands this evening. So those were excerpts from Picnic Pops last spring. So that's why you noticed just a difference in the music, and I think it was a wonderful piece. I also failed to mention that I had the great opportunity of being at preschool on Monday for their opening, and we just honor our preschool teachers at Westerman Preschool Center and all of our preschool classrooms because they spend that week of Labor Day out doing home visits. And so every one of our incoming students has had a home visit. So they actually began classes just on Monday, and Mr. Cluley and I were over there, and it was a pretty exciting place, let me tell you, as we welcomed the 3- and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds there at the preschool center. I did also want to point out, and it's on my Twitter feed if you haven't seen it, but I just want to give a shout out to the Young Fives Classroom Project Lead the Way group who invented their own air conditioner on our we had 2 fairly hot days. And I don't know if you noticed that, but it was a igloo cooler with a fan, and I suppose there was ice inside of the cooler. Those were 5-year-olds, and they were beginning their experience in maker and science and all of that technology, learning from the very first days of school how to use their learning to solve real world problems. So congrats for that. And then I also wanted to give a special shout out to Mr. Demetriou, and I heard from a trustee yesterday, Mr. Demetriou, how does one go about procuring 14,000 popsicles? That is the question. But I want to thank him for doing so on our second hot day in a row. We treated in the afternoon all of our schools without air conditioning to a little cool treat. And I want to say a special thank you to Cabinet, who under other duties as assigned now have popsicle hauler on their list of items, and those boxes are not lightweight, and they carted them out along with our Chartwell's team everywhere. And so with that, trustees, that is our summer update, back to school update part 2. I believe we are wrapping up the tennis courts and all of the things that you saw last time. Thankfully, the weather is still nice, even though we've had some rain. Mr. Laudzana is getting those projects wrapped up, and the rain perhaps will help the seeds and the grass to get anchored in a little bit before the weather changes. And so with that, we'll be happy to take any questions. It has been a great start, but that doesn't mean that if you have a concern out there, we want to hear directly so we can fix it as quickly as possible. Thank you.